Okay, we're going to bring you two hooks that you may not be familiar with. I'm going to show you kind of what they're all about. You may want to put them into your tackle box. I'm going to show you how to rig them, all that kind of stuff. But the first one I'm going to show you is really, really cool. I didn't know what to think of it at first till I saw it actually rigged. That's the Gamakatsu Cover Neko hook, and it's called Neko, not Nico. Nico's fun to say, and by all means, if you want to say it that way, go ahead. But Neko is a Japanese word for cat. How about that? Meow, you know. See what I'm saying? Meow, you know. But that bad boy right there, Shin Fukai designed this hook, and really what it is a Gamakatsu tail style shiner hook that has a swivel on the very front, and then it has this metal keeper on the back side of it to keep that worm up there. But you're going to take kind of any kind of straight worm, and he told me, just my experience, that he fishes it with the hook up like this, and it helps keep the worm up. But from my experience, the bottom part of the hook has more weight than the top, even with that. So I've been rigging it down, and I'll show you exactly how that looks. So you just kind of come right through the middle of the worm this way. I probably should have one more size bigger. I just grabbed that, as that's the number one. I would probably go with a 1/0. But as you can see, it goes right through that at kind of an angle. You pull that there, you measure it, and then you're just going to Texpose that hook so that it sits just like that. So your worm's going to essentially be straight on there. Once you get it rigged, I can kind of push it around a little bit more to get it straight. But then you're going to insert one of your Neko weights here. I'll just snag one out of my little handy bag over here. But you can just take, like it's a missile Neko weight, 1/8 ounce, and you just push it right into the end of that worm. And then it's going to be pretty daggum near weedless. If you've ever fished a Neko rig much, you know that they can be a mother hanging bear, man. I mean, you get that thing over there near a limb, and you're thinking, oh Lord, here we go. I'm going to get one to just eat it, and it's going to be Shamu, and I'm going to sit back. And all of a sudden, you're like, oh man. And then you have to break it off and tie a whole new one on, and hopefully it doesn't booger up your leader. But that's that Cover Neko G Finesse super sharp hooks. Like I said, this is a size 1. If I was fishing a trick worm or a magic worm, something a little skinnier, if I had one right here, I'd show you, a little skinnier, I would go with that number 1. But I would probably put that magic worm on that. The quiver 6.5, I'd probably put a 1/0. There you go. If I was going up to, like, let's say I wanted to do a Senko or a Missile Baits 48, something thicker, I'd probably go up to the 2/0. I think it comes in 1/0 and 2/0. But that's Cover Neko, really cool hook. If you haven't put it into your arsenal, you may want to. And here's another one that's kind of simple, but I'll explain to you why I really, really like it. The Gamakatsu Underspin Head Mini. Now, I'm going to show you right now, the worst part of this whole deal is, man, this thing is really packaged well in this thing. It's kind of hard to get out of the package, but I'll just take that and discard it. And then it's really fastened well to the card, which is kind of the pain. So you can unscrew those, or you can just take some side cutters. I'm not going to do the easy way. You take the side. Okay, just finally got it out of here. Finally got it out. There is that Mini. And really it's kind of in between. Like that Cool Baits makes a really good underspin, but it's tiny. If you fish anything bigger than like a Keitech 2.8 on that, it's is no good. Only a little teeny tiny bait. So if you're trying to fish like a Keitech 3.3 or a 4-inch Easy Shiner or a Missile Baits 3.5 Shockwave, that one's too small. But this one takes the bend from the heavy cover worm hook, light wire, 90-degree bend. That's what I want. It's got the big beautiful eye. It's got the spring lock, a spring holder on it. So I mean, your baits are not going to come off. And if you're fishing these, let's call them moist. They're soft. They're moist. The Keitech 3.3s, they're gonna tear off of whatever else you're fishing it. And then, of course, with the Gamakatsu or Spro swivel on there, the blade's actually gonna spin. And then because it protrudes off the bottom before the pivot point, it's gonna be freely able to spin and not intrude with the body of the bait. And I'll show you kind of just how the Keitech lines up on there perfectly. That's, like I said, this is the 3.3, and as you can see, that's kind of like, I think that's kind of the perfect size. You could put a 3.8 on there, I think, but it almost might be a little bit small. You know, a lot of guys like the most massive hook ever invented on every lure they fish with, but a lot of times it's too big. There's the Missile Baits 3.5. You can see that fits that body. Just, I mean, it is just flush, man, flush. And then also lines up nicely on this head is the Keitech Easy Shiner 4-inch version. You want something a little more subtle. See, it's got a bigger body, but it's kind of thin, right? So you can take and just screw that bad boy right up on there, and there it is. I'm gonna go ahead and rig this one on there. Just looking at it the way it lines up, I might just nip off. I don't know why my camera just cut off right mid deal there, but you can see now it looks like it's gonna line up better with that bad boy on there. So I'm gonna ease it on there, and as you're putting it on, I'm gonna thread it on, and then I'm gonna watch to make sure it stays in the middle of the bait so your bait doesn't get all sideways coming through the water. But you want, all right, so you can see it's lined up. I mean, my phone was messing up there, but now I think we're good now. But you can see it's lined up. So before you do the twist to push it up on that spring, you want to make sure it's nice and lined up. It's probably about three wraps around there, and then you can see that is just money right there. Money, absolute cash in hand money. So that's the Gamakatsu Underspin Mini, great for that kind of next size up from a 2.8 Keitech. Like I said, Missile Baits 3.5 Shockwave, the Keitech 3.3, maybe even the 3.8. I think the 3.8's a little big for that, personal opinion, but that is money. Lighter line, 8 or 10 pound test, as I mentioned, but that's exactly what I would put on there. So those two hooks, maybe something you want to put into your arsenal. Think about fishing, think about looking at. This one is absolute fire in the wintertime. So if you're looking to get that underspin bite going, you want to try it out, all fall, all winter, and early spring, that thing is good. Or even if they're schooling in the summer, maybe you want to mix it up a little bit. And then Neko rig, it's kind of good anytime, to be honest with you, kind of year round. I throw it a lot in the post spawn and in the summertime. May take a look, and in the fall when things get real fickle, those fish are suspended a little bit more, I'd drop down on the weight. That's a little too heavy. I'd go probably with like a 16th or 1/32. But man, take a look at those two. If you have any other hooks that you think other people aren't using that I want to pop out there or you want to let other people know about because you're proud, drop it down there in the comments, and we'll try to get that going. And I'll try to have my camera situation figured out a little better for next time. But always, as always, thanks for watching.